This is Julio Ricardo Varela with Latino USA, and I actually got a call from. Well, why don't you say who you are?
Hi, I'm Brandon Benavides. I'm the president of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists.
Well, Brandon, we're friends. I'm an NAHJ member, but I was intrigued because the NAHJ published a press release on March 27th that you met with the Trump administration. So, can you tell us a little bit more about what happened on March 27th?
Yes, so for the past several weeks, I have been working to secure a meeting with the White House, and I requested a meeting with the Director of Media Affairs of the White House, Helen Aguirre. And we had very specific goals for this meeting. I wanted to make sure that our members have access to the White House. I wanted to know if there was going to be a Hispanic media liaison, because for the past 20 years there has been a Hispanic media liaison in past administrations. And then our third ask was to have access to the Vice President's office. So on Monday, the executive director Alberto Mendoza and our DC chapter president Melissa Macaya joined me at the meeting with Helen Aguirre, the director of media affairs. We had a wonderful conversation. We talked about the three issues that I just mentioned, and Helen Aguirre told me that both she and her deputy are bilingual, and they will be able to handle the media in English and in Spanish. So there won't be a specialty media. That's where the Hispanic media liaison was
Got
housed
it.
in that office. So the Spanish language journalists will go directly to Helen and Sophia.
So I guess my question, and thank you for that. My question is, there was a lot of journalists that were on the White House press list before the Trump administration. I, for one, I think there were others. For those people that aren't getting the media releases or getting information from the White House, what has the White House told you for NAHJ members? What are they supposed to do if they want to get back and get credentialed again?
Okay, so Helen told us that when the previous administration ended at the stroke of 11:59 at midnight, all of that was archived from the White House list to the website. All of that was archived. So the new administration had to start from scratch, and is basically starting from scratch. So Helen has said that people who want to be on the White House list for the new administration to email her directly to get on that list. Now, as president of NAHJ, I'm going to help facilitate that. So I've sent a release to our members asking them if they're interested to be put on that list, and we will funnel that information to the director of media affairs. That way, she's not bombarded with everybody's email all at once, but they can get on that email list. And that goes the same with the Spanish language website. Helen Aguirre says the Spanish language website is in the works, but again, they had to start from scratch because the previous administration, all of that was archived, and they are rebuilding it. And the Spanish language website is going to be available. She didn't give me a date, but they are working on it. Another thing that the new administration is doing, the Trump administration is doing, they're having people Skype in questions to the White House daily briefing. And for those of you who are interested, journalists who are interested in asking questions at the White House briefing, again, let us know. We will send your emails to the White House so they can have that information and we can make that direct connection. Helen told us there is not a web page or a sign up page for journalists to do that. So we are going to help facilitate that for our members. We're taking a proactive approach to make sure that we have access to the White House.
So basically, so if anyone who wants to be back on that list, to just contact NAHJ, and you guys will help facilitate that. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. We'll help facilitate that process. Now, another part of our meeting, we did ask for the White House to continue the tradition of White House briefings with NAHJ members. This is something that I started when I was the DC chapter president, and we had two briefings. I organized one, and Melissa Magaya organized the second one, as when she became the DC chapter president. So the administration was open to the idea, and we are in negotiations to organizing a White House briefing with NAHJ members.
Did you ask any questions at all about what was your sense about Helen Aguirre's sort of openness to talk to more Latino journalists, given what the Trump administration, just what the news coverage has been? Do you sense that elephant in the room was addressed a little bit, or is it just kind of like, let's begin to talk about this and let's get journalists into the White House? And I mean, what's your sense from the meeting?
It was the latter. Our purpose for that meeting was to get access to our members into the White House. We did not talk policy. We did not talk news coverage. Our purpose was to make sure that our members have access to the White House, as we have done in the previous administration. So that was my main purpose, and that's what the entire meeting was about.
Were you encouraged by the outcome of it all, or I mean, what do you think it's a first step, or?
Yes, and as I told Helen, they were very quick to answer my request, because I requested the meeting and they responded, and then I've made the request for the additional meetings, and they've been responsive. In the previous administration, I think it took me a year or two to get us that meeting in the White House, and then for us to be there. And this time, it took a matter of weeks, and I got a response when I sent my letter to Helen. I got a response within a week, and this is something that I've done behind the scenes. I wanted to be proactive when we were reaching out to the administration, and so this was something that was well thought out, and I wanted to help our members, and this is the vehicle that I did it in.
Well, thank you, Brandon. We really appreciate your time. I know you've been busy traveling, but I think it was just helpful to get sort of your voice and your take on what happened on Monday, the 27th. So thank you again.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, take it easy.